In 2014 and 15, the live cattle market saw record high prices. What events led up to this price spike?
We had a major drought across the southeast. I remember back in 2011 and 12, and we had a major sell-off of cows similar to what we're seeing in Texas right now. And so there was lighter numbers. We had a drought previous to that out west. We had cold really deep, and we were at the end of our cycle. In 2012, we had the tightest or the lightest numbers of beef cows than we had since the early 1950s. And we easily had twice as many people in this country.
Wow.
People saw opportunities in that. Now, I think the market got artificially driven up, which I know it did. And there was some guys in the commodity business that did that. Namely, one of my heroes, Memphis, Charlie McVane. He ran a commodity business in Memphis, Tennessee, and he handled a lot of the risk management for a lot of your larger independent cattle feeders. Well, he was one of them that saw that opportunity, and he bankrolled it. I mean, he just started rolling the futures market higher and higher and higher. And he actually got in trouble and had to pay a fine because he overextended his limits of buying and pushing that market higher. But while he and some others that saw that opportunity were doing that, then we saw fund managers starting to do that too. And instead of shorting the market like they always do and making money as it rolls down, they were going long the market and making it roll up. But, likely our market got higher than it had a right to be artificially, but, everybody was loving it while it was happening. Of course, 2015, it fell just about as fast as it had gone up. We're going to see something similar to that, the balance of this year and definitely the spring of 23. It's not going to last as long as we think. I see a lot of people thinking that 2024 is going to be gangbusters. I think they better plan on the gangbuster being this fall and next spring, because everything we do in this industry happens so fast that we'll already be on the downside of it by 24.
In 2014, the live cattle market saw all-time record high prices, with steers at 550 pounds going from $163 per pound in 2012 to $295 in 2014. In 2011, a red-hot drought across the Deep South drove many ranchers to liquidate, and herd sizes were reduced. Once precipitation returned to these drought-stricken areas, ranchers began restocking, and prices went up for a very brief period of time. Here in 2022, we are facing the same set of circumstances and possibly the same opportunity to cash in on our beef cattle. But here are 3 things that you need to pay attention to. Number 1 is that any upcoming price spikes will be very short term. As Corbitt Wall mentioned, prices went down in 2015 just as quickly as they went up in 2014. Another thing I want you to really pay attention to is his mention of the artificial stimulus that the market received, and keep that in mind as you make decisions going into the next year. Number 2 is that the upcoming opportunity in the conventional cattle market is for established ranchers only. If you do not own cattle and if you have no experience in the market, do not go out and make investments based on foreseeable opportunity in 2023 and 24. The opportunity will be for those with already established operations that can scale up very quickly and liquidate when those prices do go up. Number 3 is grass-based operations will receive the greatest benefit from the price increases. The price of grain has tripled over the past couple of years, and while those prices are softening up just a little bit this year, the reality is that in systems where grain is still a heavy input, any additional profits that you may see in the coming year and a half will be eaten up by the additional cost of those grain inputs. Just for example, corn went from $3 a bushel in the Southern Plains to $9 a bushel, and essentially tripling the cost of gains, which the cost of gains is how much it costs to put 1 pound on an animal before sending it to market. And since cattle is sold by live weight per pound, the cost of gains is going to directly correlate to your profit and loss at the end of the year. So the important thing here is cheap gains, and that typically comes from pasture and grass and not grain. And the cost of gains is something I really want to hone in on here, because it's why I constantly push books like Quality Pasture, like Management Intensive Grazing, like Salad Bar Beef, because these books teach you how to put weight on animals using pasture. Because we are at a place in time where the beef cattle market is a ticking time bomb. The only way, I believe, to make a profit long-term on beef cattle is to establish a hardcore direct-to-consumer market. But as we surf opportunities on the conventional market, it is absolutely critical that we know how to manage pasture in order to produce gains in our operation. Guys, I have the chance of a lifetime for you, quite possibly. Special pricing to the 2022 Stockman Grass Farmer Gathering in the Shenandoah Valley, Virginia, August 25th through the 26th. This is going to connect grass farmers from across the nation. And if you are getting into grass farming, whether hobbyist or occupational, you are literally going to take away from this event every last penny of the cost of admission. And I do not say that lightly. I spent 6 hours at Polyface Farms last weekend and came away with more information than I will be able to apply in the next year. Registration down below, 3 days only, so you need to make a decision and you need to make it fast. I hope to see you there at the Stockman Grass Farmer Gathering at Polyface Farms, August 25th through the 26th.